Welcome back to the Team to Beat Miami Heat podcast, your one-stop shop for daily Miami Heat content. I have a special guest joining me today, my friend Andrew, who is a Golden State Warriors fan, and we just started playing basketball together. So I thought it'd be fun for him to join. So thanks for hopping on, Andrew. Appreciate the time.
No problem. Happy to be here.
So last night, I went to the game, and the Miami Heat lost. They were crushed by the Warriors, 135 to 112. And after a relatively close first half, I think the Warriors were up by 4 at half. The Warriors completely blew it open in the second half, outscoring the Miami Heat 65 to 46. And it was a horrible game to be at. I was excited. I don't get to see Miami often in California, but the biggest story from last night wasn't even the score or really the game, honestly, at this point. It was the Warriors star, Jimmy Butler, went down midway through the third quarter with a right knee injury against his former team, the Miami Heat. And earlier today, Charania confirmed the worst. Jimmy Butler has torn his ACL and will miss the rest of the season. So, Andrew, what was your immediate reaction when you saw Jimmy go down?
I mean, when I saw Jimmy go down, I kind of got the notification. So what I do is I watch. I'm an old man, so I get to watch the first half of the game, and then I pick it up in the morning. I picked it up, and I was like, "What's going on?" And I saw it, and I just had to go look at the video. And like to me, it was the most devastating kind of injury. Right there's not really any, like, he didn't get hit. He kind of just landed in an awkward way and just fell down. And so like watching those, it always just like, oh man, it feels like that could happen to anyone. And it's like, from a team perspective, the Warriors are a little cooked. And the kids like to say they're cooked, they're definitely cooked. It was a sad thing to see from Jimmy's perspective, because it feels like to some extent his career could be over. I mean, obviously he's getting paid $55 million next year, and he's going to probably figure out a way to collect that. But in realistic terms, I mean, they're not going to win anything, and he's probably not going to be a part of that. So that's feel real bad for him.
I feel bad for the Warriors. You guys signed him to that extension that the Miami Heat didn't sign him to. So he said, I want my money. I lost my joy playing basketball here, even though, he put the Miami Heat on his back and went to 2 NBA finals, and we couldn't win either of those years. And I know, Andrew, we're both Niner fans, and then I'm a Heat fan, but Bay Area sports, everything else except for the Warriors, probably not the best choice. Probably better to have been to. It would have been better for me to be a Warriors fan the last decade than a Heat fan. But seeing Jimmy Butler get hurt really sucks, especially because Jimmy was my favorite player when he was on the Miami Heat for those 5 years. So love him or hate him, he competes. He shows up in big moments. Unfortunately, you guys didn't really get to see playoff Jimmy. And, he played well last year, but the biggest issue was Steph Curry got injured, right? And he just he didn't have enough firepower outside of him and Kuminga, basically, to carry the Warriors in the uber competitive, Western Conference. So it's just
he was, to be fair, he was basically playoff Jimmy for the last like month and a half of the season last year, because he was doing everything for them. Yeah, he was doing everything. Like, he was bringing the team together, hyping up the young guys, trying to get them to be involved. Like, he's like a glue guy that they needed, Like, Draymond's act is kind of getting a little tired. So him coming in was like a little bit new, fresh leadership that everyone's like, oh yeah, we could do something with this guy. So that was super. I mean, that's going to be missed.
It's like that was like the honeymoon stage too. So obviously Jimmy was just happy to get out of Miami in a better situation. I mean, honestly, I'd rather play with Steph Curry than Tyler Hero. So I think that was a huge
or Bam Adebayo.
Right. Or Bam Adebayo. Yeah, especially Bam Adebayo this year. But Bam actually was pretty good in those playoff runs with Jimmy Butler. We just didn't have enough. And I think going back to where I lost my train of thought, I was going to say it sucked being a Niners fan because they lost Super Bowls the same years that the Miami Heat went to the championship. So it was a double whammy as I remember that. I don't know how I remembered it, but yeah, it sucks being a Niners and Heat fan at the same time because we got so close. And yeah, both my teams lost in the same year, which made it even worse, honestly. But now that Jimmy's done for the year, obviously this changes everything for the Golden State. Like, Curry's championship window, like, that is going to be tough to compete. And he's been spectacular. Like, Father Time has not really caught up with him. His game has aged very well. But what can the Warriors do? Like, what can they do realistically now to try to salvage this season? Do they try to salvage the season and swing for the fences. The trade deadline's like 2 weeks away. Like, is there anybody like a Jaw, a Zion, or one of those type of players that like could fix this? Because ultimately, we know you guys want Giannis, but it seems like Giannis is never gonna ask to be traded. So, do you guys
I
go
don't
that
even
route?
I don't even think they could trade anybody for Giannis, honestly. Like they don't have like nobody. So let's start at like Kuminga. Kuminga hasn't been playing, all right? So DNPs. So there's a lot to unpack there, but one of the things that is very obvious is that there's some friction between him and the organization, right? Like for some reason he's not playing, whether it's because he wants a trade or whether it's because he doesn't like the way he has to play. Whatever it is, he's not bought in. It's not working. So part of that is like nobody wants him. Now he's overvalued for basically what they gave him. So
Right.
so not only do you need somebody to replace Jimmy, but you also need somebody to replace him. So that's what, like 60 million in cap real quick of your team that's just like not going to play. So I mean, numerically, you're kind of fighting an uphill battle as the Warriors. So they really need these like people who are just making like 2 million and 5 million to all of a sudden step up and do something that they've never done. Like that's really all they can do. Even if they trade for somebody, like you're wanting to trade for somebody who's their second best player, and there's nobody out there that's going to take a kind of a bag full of G League players in order to give them their second best player or their first best player. Like it's just not available right now. So like I'm expecting them to kind of ride this thing out, wait for next year, and just be happy with maybe making the play in. I think they're at the maybe making their play in now, right? Like if Kuminga decides to just not play, like they're not going to have enough points. They're just like, so last night you guys got to see the best of the Warriors. That was like the best that they've played in like a 15 game stretch. Like it really was. Turnovers were low. They were hitting their threes. Like that's when they're clicking and doing their best. So like it was just a perfect storm last night for the Heat to just kind of run into the buzzsaw. But
Yeah.
going back to the go ahead.
Okay, finish your thought. Finish.
No, I was gonna say, yeah, going back to their team building thing, like they probably like if I was Joe Lacob, the owner of the Warriors, he probably is like, this is working, this is working. We're gonna be missing Butler, but things are looking up, and so like recency bias is gonna get him stuck at the trade deadline. Like,
Yeah, I don't know if the Warriors can slip a lot further unless the Trailblazers miraculously continue to ascend. Pretty crazy turnaround for them so quickly. Like they're 22 and 22. You guys are 25 and 19. It's funny. The Heat are the 8th seed in the East, and we're 22 and 21, only one game above 500. You guys are 25 and 19, and that 6-game window would put the Heat up like at the 4th seed or 3rd seed possibly in the East, and like the West obviously is just a gauntlet of amazing teams, and the East was getting better as well, but they've kind of tapered back a little bit. But you don't think, just from earlier, you don't think that the Bucks would trade Giannis to the Warriors for Draymond, Jimmy Butler, all your draft picks, and Moody? You don't think they'll take that pick or that package?
I think everything they've been gearing for the last year and a half has been, okay, there's going to be a cliff after the 2027 season. 2026, 2027, there's just going to be a cliff there. So they're basically stockpiling all their assets for that to happen, right? Like Draymond's contract is off, Steph's contract is off, and they're going to just try to make sure that everything works out at that time. And if they got Giannis, like that's going to not work for whatever they're trying to do in that timeline. Like, then you're going to have to sign Steph again. They're going to sign Steph again, but he's going to have to take reduced money. So whatever they do there is going to be not good for Giannis. Like, why would Giannis be like, yeah, I'll sign up for this? like Giannis should go to Oklahoma. Take whatever he's got and go to OKC.
That would be. They have all the treasure chest of all the picks, and the young players and the veteran and the salaries they could piece together. Like that would be scary. I mean, the Spurs are similar. They have all the first round picks, young assets, good veterans they could package together. So it's gonna be hard for the Warriors to compete. But one guy that I think is gonna realistically still be traded is Kuminga. He did demand a trade last week. Finally, we knew this marriage was gonna end. The writing was on the wall. The last off season, like we just figured that they didn't want to extend him. He wants to be a max. He wanted his next extension, which would be a max extension for him on the scale on his post rookie scale contract, and I don't think he's worth it, obviously. And there's just been just a lack of just opportunity, usage, and chemistry, I guess, and just trust. I don't know, like why Steve Kerr just doesn't give him the opportunity. So we knew that was going to end. But there was something that Kerr did say yesterday that now that Jimmy Butler's hurt, it's like, hey, wait a second, we could actually maybe find a role for you now. So it's like I would laugh if Kuminga said, okay, yeah, because now we need a wing, obviously, and your wing depth is going to be insanely depleted once you lose both of them. But just that dichotomy just doesn't sit right with me, that like they're like, hey, there's a possibility maybe we don't trade him and keep him now. But like if I was Kuminga, I would say F you. So in my opinion, as an outsider, and because he demanded a trade last week, I still think he's all but gone. So do you think that's the case? And like, what do you think his value is? Because I was hearing also rumors that you guys might have to attach a first-round pick to get rid of him, which is like even more detrimental now with the Jimmy piece, right? Because how are you going to salvage the season and add someone if you're going to have to get rid of Kuminga no matter what, in my opinion? But what do you think he's gone? I think he's gone. So what are your thoughts on that?
Totally. If Daryl Morey was involved in the trade, he'd be like, all right, I need like 6 first-round picks, and then you got to give us Kuminga too.
Yep.
But I see it a little differently. So he basically like worked his way out of the rotation. Yeah, he might be like a skilled player, but like when you have Steph Curry on your team, if you catch the ball and you have a wide open Steph Curry in the corner and you decide to drive anyways, like that's on you. Like that you're basically giving up free points to drive because you need to drive. So like to me, he's always been putting himself first. And like I get it when you're like that age and that's what you need. But he just got paid. So when you just got paid, just go in there and rebound. Like who cares? Like all they need him to do is go in, rebound the ball, pass the ball to Steph. Like you don't need anything else. Like that's it. And he's incapable of doing like those little things. Whether it's his friction with Steve or what, I don't know. But I don't think his trade value is very high because of that, right? Like maybe a Washington will take a guy that doesn't listen to any of the system that you're trying to implement, but he's not going to go to a team that has a functional system. Like the Spurs wouldn't want him. Like even the Knicks would be like, nah, I'm okay on him. I don't want him to help. He wouldn't help me. Like the Bucks, probably not either. Like I don't like. He's gonna have to go to a trash tier team in order to get whatever he's looking for. And he's gonna get there and just get sucked up by terrible basketball for the rest of his career. So that's like what he wants. I think that's what he's gonna get. But it's the Warriors are gonna have to take it in shorts on that trade. It's not going to be an even trade. They're just trying to get rid of him at this point, and they're going to have to deal with the consequences of having less assets. Sucks, but
yeah. So that's just such loser mentality. It's like going to a bad team like Trae Young was like out of nowhere. He's like, oh yeah, the Wizards are a destination I would like to go to. It's an underrated like city. It's like a big market, if you will. And I'm like, just this guy doesn't care about winning because he's going to a team that is just a poverty franchise that's always bottom 3 in the East, and they don't play defense anyway, and they always lose. So they don't need to worry about him getting hunted and not playing defense because they expect to lose. So he could just chuck up a bunch of half-court shots, get some nice alley-oops to Alex Sarr, and he'll get paid and get his stats, and he'll be happy. And sounds like Kuminga wants to do that because he's already won a championship. His role has diminished, but he's shown talent, the upside. Like he's obviously a good athletic young wing who's a good defender, in my opinion. I don't watch him every day like Warrior fans, but still, he's like a guy who has improved, obviously, in the league with like not a lot of opportunity, honestly. But to your point, it's like just be an expert in your role. Like play defense, be the 3-and-D wing type guy, and buy into the system. Maybe Kerr then will play you more. Maybe you'll get a little more usage. Maybe you'll get more offensive opportunity when Steph is resting. And then that's where you can highlight and showcase. Average your 16, 17 a game, but give me 7 rebounds. Play defense. And then
Yeah.
people saw you when people are hurt, when he stepped in, and also like the playoffs last year when he averaged I think he averaged like 22 in whatever the first round, second round. I don't know if it was against the Rockets or whoever it was, but that upside, people would say that like he's bought into his role, and we should just give him an opportunity, and that could be a contending type team or like a middling team where like if we bring this guy in and give him the reins, then he could be the guy. But like the way his attitude has been, it's like you're gonna go to the Kings, you're gonna go to like I don't know. I mean, there was rumors about Dallas, which I think would be very interesting, especially because who's going to come back next year. You know, if AD is going to give you 30 games, he's made out of glass, maybe 40 games. But Kyrie, AD, Kuminga, Flag, that could be interesting. But yeah, it's
fun.
It's rough, man. But going back to the Miami Heat, because this is a Miami Heat podcast. So from an outsider looking in, what's your read on the Miami Heat this season?
I got a question. I got so many questions, right? Because I apparently got to see them on one of their worst games. I've always been of the nature that Bam, I don't know. Like every time I watch him, he's never really that good. He's always kind of like mediocre. And like in a hard game in the playoffs or whatever, he's always just kind of like doing things that are not effective or impactful. And like I'm so frustrated watching him because he is so skilled. He really could make an impact. And every time I see him, he's like dribbling at the top of the key, trying to do like a turnaround fadeaway at the elbow. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, or I guess last night it was like bailout threes. I'm like, why? Just take the balls, go score on the little guy that's on you. The Warriors don't have any length. Like, just go score on him or beat up Quentin Post. How could he not win the matchup against Quentin Post? Like, that's what I'm wondering. Like, he's your best player. What's going on?
So I totally agree with you. Like Bam Adebayo last night was 1 for 12, shot 5 or 6 threes, was 0 for 6. Didn't take advantage of his foot speed against Quentin Post, which I thought was just absolutely embarrassing. And to your point earlier, he doesn't take advantage of his size. He is an undersized big. He's only 6'9". He doesn't really have the back to the basket skill. And I think that's a symptom of the way the NBA has been over the last decade, right? The big man, you know, the traditional big man that we were used to watching growing up is not in the NBA anymore. And like they're expected to shoot threes. So he has expanded his skill set. You mentioned you don't know if he's really skilled, but he seems to be skilled. Like he's skilled, but he shouldn't be taking, to your point earlier, turn around, kind of like fade away mid-range jumpers, like especially dependent on matchup. Quentin Post, you have him on the perimeter. We sometimes do the 5-out motion offense. Take him off the dribble. Or like if you get a smaller guy on you, like Will Richard last night or whoever it may have been in the post, like post him up. Like he still has some touch down there. So I can't allow you to bash him completely. Yes, he's not having a great year this season, but there's not that many big men out there that are going to be top 3, top 5 in, you know, defense, depoy candidates where they can guard 1 through 5. Like he's literally one of the few guys in the NBA that could actually guard 1 through 5. You have another guy on your team, obviously, and Draymond, who used to be able to do that. I don't know if he could still do it as effectively just because of his age, but like people think and outsiders think that like Bam should be a better scorer, averaging 24 points per game, but like that's just not his complete skill set. And like where he came from, drafted 14th overall, being a 3-time All-Star, Olympic champion with, you know, your boy Steph Curry, obviously. Like he came in raw with no offensive game, like no touch, no shooting ability. He's shooting 35% from 3 right now. So it's like the fact that he does some fadeaway turnaround jumpers, like is still impressive. Like I don't want him to do that, but Bam, he's been frustrating though, because he's just the thing about Bam, especially this year and just in general, he's been averaging like 18, 19 points per game in his career. I don't think he's ever averaged more than 20 points per game. It's just that the averages are so frustrating as a Heat fan because it's not like he averages 18 a game. Now, he averages 18 a game based on getting one game 40 points, then the next game 10, another game 20, another game 13, like another game 8, and then 29. You know, it's like it's just so inconsistent. And especially last week in 3 games, he was playing horribly. I think he's injured, but I don't use that excuse because if you're healthy enough to be out there and and to play, and your defense is fine. Like you're just missing shots. It's in your head, and you're hurt. I mean, that's obviously an objective thing, right? But he was averaging like 10 points a game, like 5 rebounds for like 3 weeks. 3 weeks straight. This is not Buddy Hield, like you mentioned earlier, right? This is Bam Adebayo, right? There's levels to this. So it's like, what's more frustrating, Buddy Hield sucking or Bam? Like you already know Buddy Hield sucks. So, but his last 3 games, Bam's been averaging like 28 a game, 13 rebounds. Like we beat the Pistons, we beat the Thunder, and then last night, Bam has 4 points on Quinton post.
So they just didn't stick to the recipe, right? The recipe to beat the Warriors is to just beat them up the inside, get rebounds and beat them up. Like you can literally rebound better than the Warriors. The Warriors are not a great rebounding team. So it's like just chuck up some threes, get a rebound, and you'll win the game. Like that's normally how it goes. But real quick question for you. Your Andrew Wiggins, like how have you guys enjoyed Andrew Wiggins? First off, the tribute video last night. Were you there for that? How was that?
It was awesome. I mean, awesome for my friends who are Warrior fans, because none of my friends are Heat fans because I don't live in Miami. But it looked touching, and they showed him with his kids, and obviously like the championship, the playoff run that he had. Like he was second best player, right? Technically, like was it in the finals or in that whole playoff?
The whole playoff run. So there were games where he just carried. Yeah.
Which is like, I can't even fathom that, honestly, because this guy like blends in so seamlessly where he doesn't want to be the center of attention and doesn't want to be that alpha. Like he's probably best at being your 4th option, like on a winning team. And he's our 3rd option because Tyler Hero's been out basically the entire year. And he'd probably prefer to be 4th. And he's a damn good 3rd or 4th option, like in my opinion. Like it's just not really contributing to winning, and that's not his fault. It's the way the Miami Heat are constructed. But he's averaging he's 3rd in scoring on our team. He's averaging like almost 16 a game, gets you 5 rebounds. Is obviously a good defender
every single night. Like he doesn't mess around. He'll get you that every single night, right? And that's the difference. It's like Norm Powell is a very similar person, right? He's gonna just do that every single night. But when you're saying like when he's the best player on your team, you're like, why is this happening?
Right. Completely. Yeah. Norm Powell too has just been fun. Like, I mean, it's unreal how we got him for Kevin Love and Kyle Anderson, literally. And he's averaging like 24 points per game. He is someone that the Warriors desperately could use, or could have used, or insert any other mid team, because both of our teams are 8th, and your team is going to 100% be mid as well. And my team is always going to be in the middle. They're a perennial play-in team. It's been, I think, 4 seasons in a row, or 3 in a row. This is probably going to be the 4th for us as well. So you guys have kind of been stuck in that rut as well, wasting Steph Curry's championship window. And that's kind of unfortunate, especially after losing Jimmy Butler as well. But maybe we could trade you Andrew Wiggins back, maybe for Kuminga. Like, how about we trade you Wiggs for Kuminga and a 1st-round pick, and maybe Gary Payton, so we get some more defense. What are your thoughts?
I'm trying to get that 1 in 100 chance, like the Mavericks got, to be the 1st pick and get that boy from BYU who's just windmill dunking on everybody.
You prefer they don't make the play-in and they just kind of tank, like step back a little bit?
Absolutely. I don't think that's even an option. I think they're gonna, even if they are trying, they're gonna be like, from here out, their morale is low. They're gonna be losing a lot of games. Like they're gonna be below 500. If they make the play-in tournament, that would be nice. But I'm not super optimistic on the path that's going. Like even if they trade for somebody, like I don't see that happening. They were on a lifeline. They were just hanging in there, and then this just kind of like tipped them in the wrong direction. So
they're capsized at this point.
They're sinking ship this year. The 2026 season has been written off. You just write it off.
Are you guys willing to lose like that? And like, would Kerr do that? You guys are similar to the Heat. Like, I don't think you guys would tank on purpose necessarily, but like, would you guys sit out Steph even though he's healthy? Just to get those extra losses. You got to take a step back to improve. Like the whole process, whatever Philly, like theoretically kind of worked a little bit. It's just that Embiid's literally cooked. I mean, I will never have faith and trust that his knees are going to be able to hold up for entire seasons. But that process, and you never expected Ben Simmons to go from an all-star to a guy who can't even play basketball. He got touched by the Space Jam aliens and lost his talent, and he's never been given it back. Someone just needs to touch Ben Simmons. But like, they were bad, and they got these draft picks, like high lottery. You need high lottery picks now. Like you really need that, especially right now, because there's no free agency. Like there's no you don't just have cap space and sign players. Like it's really difficult to get talent and stars. So like sometimes you have to be bad, and the Miami Heat will never do that. We'll never tank. I'm like, we've been the 8th seed like 4 years in a row now. Like trade a Tyler, trade even a Bam at this point. Like maybe trade Bam because he's worth more and he's a little bit older than Tyler. Tyler's 25, Bam's 28. Like then just go young and get like a top 5 pick so we can get a VJ Edgecombe or like a Dylan Harper or someone. Like, you know what I mean? Like we have to keep work staying afloat by getting Tyler Hero at 14, Bam at 13, and Jaime Jaquez at 18, and Khalil Ware at 15. And we're just like, we're so good at those picks, but like they're not going to win because they're not superstars for a reason. Like we got a couple all-stars in Tyler and Bam, but like I want a superstar. And we don't have one. That's why we're basically 500, right? And you guys have one superstar, but your problem now is size and depth, right? So that's also another recipe.
That's what tanking looks like on these systemic teams, right? Like it was weird a couple years ago when the Spurs traded everybody away, right? They're just like, all right, we're gonna trade everybody away to like contending teams and like do whatever you got. Like that's kind of abnormal, right? You're asking for the Heat to trade away their top 3 players. Like that's probably just not going to happen because those guys still make the franchise money, right? Exactly. Like the Warriors tanking is like watching Steph go for 40 and still losing. Like to me, that's them tanking. You can't do anything else but pass the ball to Steph and have him shoot 25 or 33s a night. Like that's what it looks like. It's not a normal tanking like Washington or Portland where they just go on these losing streaks of 15 or 20 games in a row. But like they're in close games, they're losing close games, and they just can't win the games that they should be winning. Like that's their recipe for tanking, right? Like, I don't know. It's just to me, it's like they have too much of an ego to lose too many games. But like that's what happened last year, right? You just put in Kuminga for half the year and you lose a bunch of games. It's like, oh yeah, he's putting up stats, but it's like I always point back to John Wall and the Wizards, man. It's just the worst empty stats. Does nothing for your team. Yeah, oh man, you're a great scorer, but then you go to a team like this happened to Kuzma too. Oh man, you're doing so great. You're putting up like 20 and 10. Oh man, and then you go to the Bucks and you're terrible.
Right, exactly.
Like, you never developed habits. Yeah, you didn't develop the right habits. You weren't able to figure out how to actually win. And that's, I think that the winning culture teams, they're developing those habits in people that are just not as good, right? So they can't let go of that. But at the same time, you're not going to win. So
the Miami Heat sound like the Golden State Warriors, except we don't have Steph Curry and you do. So at least you get to watch a future Hall of Famer, one of the best point guards of all time. And I got to watch Bam Adebayo shoot 7 threes a game and miss all of them. And I got to watch Tyler Hero get coughed on and sneezed on and, have contusions left and right. He had a toe contusion that's kept him out 15 games. And then now he has a rib contusion. And now he's going to miss this whole West Coast trip. It was 5 games, including last night. So he's going to miss the next 4. So he'll be playing 11 of the 50 games available at this point. And it's just like, I have to deal with him coming back in and just like trying to play for a contract. Like he's like, he's like, I like fundamental basketball and it's like a fast break with the three guys on 2. And he does a pull-up 3 instead of passing to the 2 guys that are cutting and collapsing the defense. And at least you get to watch Steph Curry. So And yeah, and also you guys have at least won a championship within the last few years, right? It's been almost 12 years now since LeBron left and Wade and Bosh. It's like, yeah, so we haven't won a championship in 12. So that's starting to creep up actually, right? Like the Heat have been relevant, just like my Niners again, like we've gotten to the championship, we just haven't been able to finish. But unlike the Niners, it hasn't been 34 years, thank God, since the Heat won at least.
It comes in waves on the East in the Eastern Division though. In the Eastern Conference, it comes in waves. Like the people that have like the absolute best talent are the ones that are going to be like winning those things. Like I don't know why the Celtics are doing so well this year. I kind of like keep seeing them over. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense to me. But they're not going to win anything in the playoffs. So like, you just need like one or two guys that are just carrying the team in the Eastern Conference, and then you all of a sudden just find your way in the finals. Like it feels like that every time. It's like, oh, Giannis can carry the finals. Like, yeah, sometimes he can. Like, he just carry his team in the finals.
No, I mean, but Giannis, to be fair, Giannis is like when healthy top 3 guy in the entire NBA, just because he's such a good defender. He's probably the most dominant player in the NBA at this point, right? I mean, guys averaging 30 points, you can't shoot like a lick, So that's what I want Bam Adebayo to be. Be like a Greek freak like him, Like,
Bam, all you got, you should tell him that. You should be like, hey Bam, hit him on X. Hey Bam, all you gotta do is be like Giannis.
Yeah. Just be like Giannis, dude. Bam is a beast. He's not like Giannis, but like, because Giannis is like 6'11", right? He probably weighs more than Bam, is way stronger. But Bam is still one of the strongest athletic guys in the NBA. So he should be doing more, honestly, I think, in my opinion. But it's not going to matter because both our teams suck. And the Miami Heat are playing the Kings tonight, and we've already lost to the Kings this season. And we've lost to the Dallas Mavericks as well. So yeah, so it's not really fun being a Heat fan right now, and I'm sure it's not fun being a Warriors fan after last night's injury to Jimmy Butler, which really does suck. He's 36, and it's an ACL, not an Achilles, I guess, but people recover faster this day and age. But like we saw what happened to Clay, but he had back-to-back. He had ACL and Achilles, but Clay is just not the same, and not to say it's the same situation, obviously, because it's those two stacked up on each other. But Clay, and he was younger, 32, right? And it's just his career. His career was basically over in a sense, because like from where he was, like as an all-star type player. But hopefully Jimmy can come back. But the only issue is he's hurt that knee a few times in Miami, MCL, meniscus or whatever. Like it's the same right knee, I believe. So that's the biggest cause for concern as a still kind of Jimmy Butler fan. That was a bad divorce. Like I just was tough. It's hard to hate him for what he did, taking an 8th seed to the finals on his back. So, but hopefully he can recover. We'll see. But yeah, anyway, thank you so much, Andrew, for hopping on. Appreciate the time. If you guys did enjoy the content, make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Thank you.